sad, as though he had to do something for her. But what? It was too late to help her. Too late to plead with her not to do this. Paddy did the only thing he thought right. He took a shovel from his battered old car and began to dig. It'd give her a burial so the dingoes couldn't dig her up, or the crows peck at her, or the ants finish eating her. Then he would travel to Barrabine, stopping in at all the little digs along the way, letting people know what he'd found. The next of kin might be angry he had buried her, but the way he looked at it, he couldn't leave her here like this. If he put her in the ground, at least the family would know where she was. There would be somewhere to come and mourn and remember. He would have to find and tell them. Make sure they knew what had happened to her. From the treetop, a crow watched his effort. The only noise, the shovel hitting the hard earth and his grunting. Puffs of red dust rose with each shovelful, and his breathing became more laboured. Finally, he was done. Driving his car close, he stood on the roof and cut the rope, and the body fell into the grave he had dug with a thud. He said the only prayer he knew, and then started to fill in the grave. Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Casting around for rocks, he couldn't see any big enough. So he got out his handsaw and started to cut wood to lay across the mounded dirt. Chapter 1. 1997. "We're not staying here long, are we?" Melinda asked, her lips curled in disgust. "For as long as the department wants me to, I guess. Maybe 1 or 2 years." Detective Dave Burrows pushed open the gate of his new house and ignored the hissing sound that came from Melinda as he said, "Or 2." He'd been told his new partner, Spencer, was going to meet him at the house with the keys. But either they were early or he was running late because there was no sign of him. Maybe there was a key somewhere, so they could get out of the incessant heat. He ran his fingers along the doorframe. Nothing. He lifted the frayed mat before moving on to the empty pot. Nope. No key. This hadn't been the welcome to Barrabine he'd been hoping for. He'd wanted his new wife, Melinda, to love the place as soon as she arrived, for there to be a welcoming committee of, well, he didn't care who, just someone to make Melinda feel comfortable and happy, to make a friend straight away, for the house to be lovely and modern. Sadly, it was tiny and run down, with a patch of brown lawn at the front. The fibro dwelling had a small porch, which would keep the northern sun from the doorway, but there weren't any verandas to keep the house from heating up or to sit on with an evening drink. The garden was a mixture of stones and dead weeds and was distinctly unappealing. Like the entrance to the town. The expanse of blue sky had seemed to shimmer as they'd driven 7 hours east from Perth and were closer to Barrabine, and the shiny, trunked gums had large pieces of bark hanging from their branches. For a moment Dave had to squint. The bark looked like a body hanging, swaying in the breeze. Dave was sure he'd never seen dirt as red as this country. It was the colour of rich copper. Then there was the ground, scattered with little stones glinting in the sun. He'd pointed it out to Melinda, saying it looked like blue metal had been spread across the ground and bushes and trees grown up through it. She'd shrugged, clearly not impressed. There'd been no mistaking that they were heading towards a mining town. Piles of dirt which seemed to reach the sky had risen above them. So long they seemed to create a range line. Their bluey-grey dirt didn't seem to match the red on the surface, and Dave wondered how deep they had to go down for it to change colour. Then the shanties had appeared, small tin sheds on the fringes, and Melinda's lips had formed the same thin line that she wore now.